Okay, and good afternoon to this week's The Marketing Gem. On this week, we're talking about how SMEs can best utilise their website. And as you can see, um, as you know, most businesses, regardless of the size of their business these days, seem to have a website. But how effective is your website in raising your company or organisation's profile and explaining what they do? Directly or indirect, and how do they directly or indirectly help a company's sales? So how can an SME with limited resources such as time, money and expertise both to build a site and to promote it, develop it and get the best utilisation from it? The time when just having a website was enough to help you raise awareness and visual sales have long gone. Now a great website can help improve your sales and reputation, whilst the opposite effect is equally true for a bad website. So what are the basic steps that a SME owner needs to implement to make sure that their company's website is earning its keep and helping to promote the company or organisation? How do business owners best utilise their company's website rather than having a website which just drains resources? As usual, I'm joined by a panel of experts from the brand and marketing sectors, and as usual, Jonathan Darby, who has a wealth of experience in the marketing and media planning departments of major world advertising agencies for major clients, is here to talk to us again this week. Jonathan.
Hi there, thank you for inviting us. I think this is an important topic, and I think it's one that, particularly for SMEs, they need to have the confidence to get it right. So I look forward to taking part.
Okay, that's great. And we also have Kevin Lynch with us, who's another regular contributor. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
Hi, Diane. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to really understanding how you can drive your business forward using your website.
Okay, that's great. And this week we have a special guest, a marketing gem virgin, if I can call him that. We have Nish Tenuara, who owns a company in Rickmansworth, called the Web Design Company. Nish's company builds websites for a whole range of clients, not only in the UK but also in the Middle East. Welcome to the show, Nish.
Thank you for inviting me, Dan. I haven't done this before, but I'm sure I can gather the format, how you run this marketing events.
When you're ready, just chip in.
Yes. Yes, I mean, I've been working in the industry for over 11 years and got vast knowledge of working with open source platforms as well as optimizing them on search engines and helping my clients to be on the first page, and have seen how the Google search has evolved into what is it today, over the time of what my exposure over the 11 years of time. And it's changed things lots in the past, and I've seen some of the companies go disappear overnight from Google search, and not having their business when you wake up and not found their website on Google search and things like that, and had lots of exposure and experience helping clients to achieve their marketing goal over natural search engine results. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. That's absolutely great. And of course, these results and the algorithms that drive Google change so rapidly. Jonathan, is it a case of back to the old marketing audit before you start?
Well, I mean, everything that you do in this area, you need to have clear objectives and set yourself a strategy for doing it. I think the important thing to remember today is that for virtually every SME, your website will probably be one of the first touch points that your customer or your potential customer will experience. It'll also be one of the things that they most frequently go back to and refer to. So making sure it works for you and making sure that it has a really clearly defined role is very important for you in the whole construction. It may not be the hub of your marketing activity, although it has the potential to be that, but you do have to make sure you're absolutely clear on what you expect it to do for you and on getting the best out of it.
Yeah, exactly. So, Kevin, what do you think is the first thing that companies should be looking at and thinking about doing when they're looking at a website?
I think it has to fit and be an organic part of the business. It has to be baked into sort of everything they do. You know, it's not like we have a website and somebody in a remote office looks after it. The website is considered in every meeting. You don't necessarily need to have an expert, but you have to sort of say, right, and this is how we want it to look on the website. I think that's the key to driving the website, is making it a key part, fundamental part of the business.
Okay. So, Nish, I mean, this is your kind of bread and butter type of thing, as it were. You know, you deal with websites all the time. You're building them. You're working with new clients, both large and small. What, for you, is the kind of best type of brief you get? Is it an open-ended one, or is it one where the client has laid down a few ground rules about what their marketing strategy and position is?
Of course, I mean, client satisfaction is there, but like Kevin, you mentioned earlier, it's in most cases it's your first point of contact with your outside world, your potential customers, and therefore it has to be, you know, spot on, to the point, and what they're selling and all the information that the potential customer is looking for should be right in their face and not they're searching for it on the website. And most websites I've seen in the recent past started putting all their contact details right on the top, big letters, um, like email address and telephone numbers right on the top in big letters on every single page, which is fantastic. You know, that is what it should be. Um, Things like that. And I think when it comes to website, whoever build it should have a good knowledge of accessibility and the usability, design, and content, and of course the products that or services that the company is selling. You know, all the FAQs should be there, and all the information, right information for the customer who are looking for should be right in their face, not searching for it. Um, um, that way, you know, and at the same time, you should make it simple, not too complicated, not too crowded, and very simplicity always works. One of the reasons why Google search became so popular is because of their simplicity. The Google search is nothing but a plain canvas with a big search box in the middle. That simplicity worked for everyone. Most people start putting their homepage as Google as their homepage. Why? Because they like the simplicity of having a white canvas as your first page or homepage, and a big search engine big search bar in the middle. Whereas the other two search engines, the Yahoo and the Bing, they got lots of advertising going around the search box. Have you noticed? And nobody want to see all this advertisement,
Yeah.
right? So
So what you're saying is then that the first rule that you perhaps identified for an effective website is that the homepage should be effective and clear communication with clear navigation and clear
absolutely,
point of contact.
absolutely,
Yeah. So Nish there's talked about the importance of clarity, Jonathan, but of course it's also message that's got to get through, isn't it?
absolutely, it is indeed. Yeah, the right message, yeah, that sells. Um, it's very important, and lots of people, lots of the latest websites I've seen putting large slideshow in the middle, with some catchy phrases, and you know, like it says, you know, the pictures, you know, worth 1,000 words. That says, you know, exactly the point of having all these large slideshow right in the middle in the first page. Um, yes,
Yeah. Okay. So Jonathan, then, so obviously the message is simplicity.
Yes, but I think it's got to be fit for purpose. You may think that it's a good idea to make your website a catch-all, but certainly when you're starting out, try and focus on the most important aspects of how it can deliver the job of being the first point of contact with your customer. So make sure that when they land on the site, it loads up quickly and there aren't delays, because that could be a big turn off. When they're on the site, that they can find information that's pertinent to them very quickly. So however you choose to do that, if it's simplicity of navigation, or if it's some kind of search or something like that, and perhaps if you want to do something like e-commerce, don't necessarily have that as the first thing that they get to, but have it very clearly signposted. So if they want to go and buy and they know what they want to go and buy, they can go straight there. But if they just want to browse or learn about things, they know that there are buttons on that front page when they arrive that they can actually hit and go straight to what they want to see.
Yeah, exactly. And you would agree with me?
I want absolutely. Can I add something into that? What he just said. I think it is at the same time it's important, especially whichever page they land into, that if it's information or if you're trying to sell something, there should be a call for action, some sort of a form or a button calling, oh, I've read all this information, what do I do next? There should be some form of navigation for that customer. Call for action is quite important on most websites.
Yeah. So do you find that many people are leaving those off if they haven't thought about it?
Yeah, I mean, if you not find the information that you're looking for, if it confuses the consumer, you're more likely to leave, because there's so many other options there in the Google. There's so many other websites coming up in the search. They move into the next one.
Yeah. Kevin, you've got a lot of experience of, say, using web and stuff like that over the internet. What do you think it's worth companies putting a website up, a website, sorry, with a video content in there, or is that something that they should be doing later on when they've perhaps got access to better servers or faster servers?
Well, as ever with the web, it's a fast-moving environment, and what is one day orthodox is the next day heresy. So the world the circles that I swim in, video is considered important, and at this point, it's telling to think about the demographics and the actual user experience. If you're somebody who sits in an office and uses a desktop and surfs the web as part of your job, you now are way different from the norm. Something like 40% of web usage now comes from mobile phones. So when you look at a website, the first place you look at it is on your mobile. How does it look on your mobile? Then, is it fast and navigable there? And the people who are keen on video are the younger people. So, for example, when I look for an answer to a technical question, 10 videos will come up telling me the answer, but I just want the steps, and I find it hard now to find the text. But hey, I'm just giving my age away. One of the things I'd like to bring to the table is the scenario would be something like this. Say I have a nice little business on eBay selling candles by mail order. I'd like to ask Nish, what things should I consider in having a brief, I've decided, the business is sustainable. I can sell £20,000 worth of candles a quarter through eBay. I now want to take that business direct on my website. I'm thinking of doing e-commerce. How much is that going to cost me? And what are the questions I should be asking?
Right. Well, okay, there's lots. The initial questions, what is your target market? And is it B2B, or is it you're focusing on individual
It would be
clients?
consumer, because I've been there with eBay already.
Okay, right. So we're targeting consumers, right? And the first some of the things I would do is to do a little bit of research on the keywords that the website is based, or the product is based on, and what keywords that the niche keywords that really work for your website. And that's the first thing I would do, a little bit of research on that. And two, I'll look at other competitors' websites and do a little bit of research on that. and what sort of website they've done and what the design is like for particularly on these products. And three, the cost wise, depending on number of products and how big you want to build it, average e-commerce website starting from, well, based on open source platforms like OpenCart or Magento, or there's another one called PrestaShop, which is a French-based company. Um, so those are the platforms that I use for building e-commerce websites. And also the payment processing. Are you going to use a simple uh, company like PayPal? Of course, they charge a commission fee, same as what you're paying on eBay. Plus, on top, are you willing to um, take it away and go with your own bank for card processing? But those are the type of questions I ask. And what sort of product quantity we are looking at? Have you got product information like product photographs, which you already have? I'm pretty sure if you're doing on eBay, and how good quality the product images are, and these kind of things, and information that you need initially to set up the e-commerce website, which I need to set up your website. And of course, once you are quite happy with my design work and development, and is there any custom work needed, or do you want your accounting software to be connected to your e-commerce shop? Do you want anything automated? Things like that I ask from the customer. And the invoice system. Do you want automatic invoices emailed to your customers, or do you want to process that manually? And those are the questions. I mean, I got a set of questions, ready questions on, I can pass it on. This is top of my head. The question I normally ask from a client who want to do a e-commerce website. Plus, on top, do you want to do further optimization of the website? Like if it is a very competitive product, do you want to continue doing more online search engine optimization, so you get natural traffic diverted to your website? And that, of course, is an ongoing cost involved, and depending on how many keywords that you are after and things like that.
Yeah. And
So just follow up there, was what sort of budget should I be planning to put aside initially for a capital investment, and then for the running costs?
The running cost is very minimal. Only the hosting. Well, in my case, I charge £70 for years hosting. That includes your email as well, email and your hosting for the shop. That's £70 per year. Plus, on top, if you are doing a monthly SEO package, we have a set package starting from £50 to, it can go up to something like £300, depending on your number of keywords that you're after, and the package that is a monthly cost. That is only if you want to do the SEO thing monthly, which means we build inbound links from other related websites, good, very carefully selected links from other websites and directories and things like that. And and also when you put a new product in, add the new product, we optimize each page for different search terms, things like that. And of
Okay,
course,
thanks.
Okay, so it's, I mean, that's really great. But of course, before you put in the keywords in and that sort of thing, you've got to work out what the key messages are, haven't you, Jonathan? It's no good just putting a whole lot of text up there, but a whole lot of keywords that actually don't really fit what you're doing and what your platform is.
Yes, I mean, the website has got to be integrated into your overall marketing plan. There's no question about that. And what fuels the overall marketing plan will be your audit, will be going out and interviewing the stakeholders. Now, in this particular case, the stakeholders who are most important to you are going to be the ones who are essentially your customers. You can use websites to talk to other people. However, I think the most relevant area for using a consumer-led website or at least a customer-led website, is around initially that hub of where can I go and get information. Always remember, now I think the last set of stats I saw was over 50% of all Google questions or searches were initiated on mobile devices. So whatever you do, it really has to be on the it has to be mobile friendly. Obviously, if you're asking people to search for Stannah stair lifts, that might be different. But the vast majority of consumer-facing and even retail websites should be mobile accessible, mobile friendly, and actionable. So all the major functions that you'd expect to see on the website have to work in the mobile environment. The thing we used to talk about a lot, and I think is still important, is the compelling content that gets people to come to your website. So you've done the search engine optimization, you've done the building of the thing. What do people find is now the most compelling content that brings people back time and time again to a website? So how, this is the thing about the website that drives your traffic, and that's the sort of questions I would be looking for.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously you've got to have compelling content and everything, and from that the keywords come, won't they, Nish?
Sorry, I didn't follow you again.
So it's the content comes first, and then the keywords. It's not the keywords and then the content.
No, the content, yeah, of course, the content is very important. But one thing about the content, when I work with content writers, you probably know someone from the group I closely work with. One thing I mentioned to him, there is a little bit. It's very, very tricky to work with what you actually want to say on a copy, and when I go back to the content writer and say, look, I need certain words, this much of what do you call a keyword density. I want this word repeated 2% of the whole article, and it's very difficult to work with the arrangement, because the Google has this specific, because if you think about Google is all automated process. Who comes first is all decided by the algorithms, right? It's not someone actually sitting and looking at a website, right? It's all automated process, and that process, if over the years we have learned to work around that, and we have, based on our success, we've come to certain our own way of doing things. The one of these things is the keyword density. If you, on any given page, if you put something around 2% keyword density, that page get more priority for the given keyword of that density, that sort of thing. So I work closely with content writers when doing website, especially if it's content driven.
Yeah. So Kevin, I mean that's quite an important point, isn't it? That not only do you have to, as it were, fit the current, your content has to fit the current Google search criteria, but you've also got to realise that you've got to go back on a regular basis to update it as the algorithms from Google change and are modified over time.
It does indeed, yeah.
Yeah, the algorithms from Google change, and they have various code names for the platforms and stuff. If you are seriously interested in that kind of thing, I recommend checking out the Google Webmaster tools. Those tools state, it's one of those things, they say the obvious, write the stuff that Jonathan says, write good, clear, organic content, structure your document, have an abstract, have a summary, all that stuff. It's like the stuff when I was learning English in the 1970s is what Google are asking for. So read the Webmaster guidelines. Don't worry too much about, do I need to have 2% this, 5% that. Don't sweat that kind of detail. An expert like Nish will let you know if you're seriously adrift, but if you write good, sensible copy, it will just be sweet.
Yeah, and keep it short, Jonathan.
Yeah, keep it short. People don't want to spend hours reading stuff. They want to get to the gist of what you're talking about as quickly as possible. By and large, if they've got to your site, unless you're completely unheard of, they'll have something of an idea. Just the look and feel of the site will fill in gaps of their knowledge and will reassure them if it's designed correctly. I think we need to sort of have a bit of an understanding about what are the things that really help briefing on design of a website, because obviously we've got the sort of words and search engine optimization. Obviously, it's got to fit in with your perception that you want customers to have of your business and fit in with your whole marketing and be properly integrated. You've got to consider how important within the current Google algorithm is the links that you have created between your website and other websites that are providing valuable information and might be fueling part of your success. I'd still like to know what is deemed to be the most compelling type of content at the moment. So once people have discovered your website, they have a really good reason to go back on a regular basis. So rather than, sort of, you're a carpenter, you make furniture or something like that, but there's something in the website that makes people, rather than just typing in, I want some bespoke furniture, goes, I want to go and see this site first. Then I might go and see something else. So you want something that's a hook that really draws people in. And it'd be nice to know what that sort of hook is.
Nish, can you answer that for us, please?
What content that people drive? Right. I think the answer to that is, the main thing that drive people into any website is, when looking for information, right? Um, if you, particularly if you're interested on something, you want to learn about it first. Especially obviously based on the product or service. You go first thing you got to enrich yourself in what is out there, and based, people Google it for information, right? So if your website provide the right information and correct information and most up-to-date information, you are more likely to get that business.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, you do want the opportunity to engage with the company, although that's going to take resources to manage that engagement, isn't it?
True, very true.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're rapidly coming towards the end of the show. So, as usual with each week, on the actual topic, I ask each of our contributors to, as it were, highlight their one key point that should be taken away from this this topic. Kevin.
Oh gosh, you come to me first. I think I'm going to go with read the Google Webmaster Guidelines. They're written for humans, not for nerds, and that will ensure that you can rein in the creative impulses of the creative members of your creative team.
Okay. Nish?
Right. In my case, I will be a bit more technical. Well, if you're looking for a web developer, a local, someone to work with, look for someone fairly local. Look for someone who has knowledge on both designing and development, and also um, optimizing it for you, so that that person not have just designing a skill of not just a front-end designer, but also has a back-end developing, if the project need to be taken into or developed into further other things like customize it more, look for someone has that skill as well. And plus on top, especially when the websites are built, make sure that person has the skill set of how the Google search works.
Okay. Jonathan, what would be your one point in building for an SME to utilize it or to have an effective website?
I think everything comes back to the quality of the brief. So make sure that you have a clear brief, an objective that actually does something towards your own overall marketing objectives and overall business objectives. Set it out, make sure it's clear and everyone understands it, and then do objective, strategy, what is the purpose of this website, and make sure that's absolutely clear, and then work with whoever to make sure that it's whoever's developing the site has all the necessary material, understands exactly who your target audience is, who buys your product, what they think about you at the moment, how the website can improve that perception. Think of it about any other briefing of a third party. Look at what are going to be the accountable parts of it, and how when you come to renew and remunerate the people involved, that there is a clear way of making decisions and a clear way of judging success. And remember that, like anything else in marketing, every action has an impact on your business, and it's something that is continually evolving, particularly because it's happening on the web. It has to evolve probably faster than most other places.
Okay, that's great. And before I come to tip of the week, just a quick reminder that you want to get in touch with us. You can find us at the Marketing Gem on Twitter. That's at the Marketing Gem on Twitter. And this show is also recorded on the Link for Growth TV National TV YouTube channel. So you can catch the show at any time you like in the week. If you have any comments, then please get back in touch with us. Each week I also ask our panelists at the end of the show to give one key tip, marketing tip, and it can be related to any area of marketing. It doesn't have to relate to what we've been talking about today. It could be something that's topical, could be something that they've read in the paper that's provoked a thought, something like that. I'm going to start with Kevin again.
Yeah, this was one. So we talk a lot about usability. The guru of usability, though he's a bit of a divisive figure, is a guy called Jakob Nielsen. I recommend his website. It's text-based, so sorry there's no video there. And the link that you want to go to is nngroup, as in nielsennormangroup.com/articles, and he will have some stuff there that will help you ask the right questions.
Okay, that's absolutely great. Nish, what would be your one general marketing tip for companies to do?
This is focused on more local businesses. If you're targeting local customers, go and register with Google Maps. One of the best things you can do for your business. Put yourself in Google Maps. It's fairly easy. They send you a verification postcard. All you have to do is verify that and put the little PIN number into the Google system, and it will verify your address and put you on Google Maps, and you will be found for the local search that little Google maps addresses that you see on Google search. One of the best things you can do as a local business.
Okay, great. And Jonathan, what is your one tip of the week?
I think it goes back to this and last week, is if you are going to start briefing people on doing stuff in marketing, don't be afraid to come and ask us, and we will probably try and give you some kind of briefing format to work to, and or walk you through the process. But don't be afraid of getting good advice on how to brief and how to sort of judge marketing suppliers.
Yeah, I would heartily agree with that, because in my experience, projects go wrong and tend to go wrong at the beginning when the brief isn't clear and both parties have different expectations of what the outcome is going to be, regardless of the branding, rebranding product, a marketing campaign, a web or other social media or a social media type campaign. All of those things, if the briefing isn't right, and clear expectations given and explained by both parties, so you get that common agreement, it's not going to work.
Clear explanation, clear objective for each channel that you're using. So if you're using social media, it has a purpose. It may be driving people to your website. If you're using a website, it has a clear purpose. If you're using any kind of media, you need to make sure everyone's clear on what your expectations are and that there is a means of measurement and that everyone can go back to it at the end of it, and you can make sure that you get fair remuneration to everybody who's involved in the process. You're absolutely right. If it comes off the rails, normally it's down to poor briefing.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've both got lots of experience where that's been the case in the past. So I heartily agree with that, and I can see Nish is busy nodding his head in agreement and everything. But on that point, it's time to say cheerio. So, Kevin.
Thanks very much. See you all next week. If you're interested in anything I say, check me out on Twitter at KLynchK.
Okay, and Nish.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and very nice meeting you, Jonathan and Kevin. Hope to meet you again. And my website is www.photowork, spelled FOTOwork.co.uk. Thank you.
Okay, and Jonathan.
Yep, if you want to get hold of me via Twitter, it's at MMA J5Derby. And the MMA is supposed to be something like marketing, media, and advertising, so nothing like rocket science.
Okay,
but thank you for inviting me.
Well, that's okay, because I always wondered what that meant. Now I know. And as you can see here, you can get in touch with us via these Twitter addresses. There's Catherine and Alan's address still up there. Catherine couldn't be with us this week. And if you want to communicate to the Marketing Gem about the program, then please contact the Gem itself at the Marketing Gem. That's at the Marketing Gem on Twitter. And for now, I will say cheerio and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.